Ladies and gentlemen, stop everything. It's a DJ Elf 7 exclusive.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ Elf 7. As you know, I'm interviewing people all throughout the nation. I have a very special guest today. I think we'll be working on some real cool projects real soon. You're gonna find out, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hello there. I'm Brent Wilson from Oklahoma City, and I'm chairman of the Independent Greens Party of Oklahoma, and I am also attaining to be the candidate for U.S. Senate. And I'm here to talk with y'all tonight.
I've been in the Green Party for a long time, and the thing is that, it's welcome to the team, man. Maybe you've been in for a long time too. What's your story? What's your background story? Activism or this whole whatever you're doing, right?
Long story short, third-party activism in general, whether it be back in 2008 when Nader had an independent campaign, whether it be Ron Paul trying to come into the GOP and switch it more libertarian, into Gary Johnson from 2016, all the way into, obviously, working with other people within the Green Party during the primaries last cycle, as well as helping with libertarians in others various ways in the same cycle. The main goal is attack the duopoly head first, and I think the future of that lies on specific political movements that are out there that are not getting the limelight they deserve. And I think it's time to change.
Cool, man. I'm from New York. Yeah. What part of the country are you from?
Oklahoma. So Midwest, definitely a little bit different atmosphere. You're blue state, pretty blue state. Mine's just about as much red as yours is blue. So.
Well, there's problems with the blueness over here too, right? Deep-seated corruption, machinery. So it's not all positive or negative, right? There's problems on both ends of that, right? But the third-party solution, right? Actually, you're like a district leader or something in your What'd you say again?
Chairman of the Oklahoma Independent Greens Party, which is the affiliate for Oklahoma for the Independent Green Party of the United States.
Excellent. I'm in contact with my local New York branch, and the thing is that I think that the New York branch is. It was interesting that you didn't say because there was a little bit of a some controversy about the in the primary thing, whatever this season, right? But I think we should all still work together because that's really the idea behind the Greens, anyways, right? So the past is the past. Let's move to the future and make some positive things happen.
While I am totally on board with coalitions and building bridges and not barriers,
Me too.
The issue really lies on the centralized party apparatus that is the GPUS, which is honestly at fault for causing the split that has happened over the last 6 to 8 months. The way the Howie Hawkins, whatever you want to call it, went down during the primaries with very secretive votes and not very publicized primaries, kicking candidates off and just being complicit about it when pressed, and a lot of really bad there really last year.
I appreciate your honesty, man, and I tell you that either way this goes down, I'm still gonna help y'all out. Now let's you know what I mean, and anybody else, right? There's no reason we can disagree on certain things, we can agree on other things, but in the end, right? Let's focus on how many things we can agree on, and if the our personalities are really, unfortunately, not some. I know people's egos should be taken care of, but in the end, right? We're just trying to make positive change, and I like the things that I'm hearing from you, so I want to hear more, right? What's going on with you currently? What's the most current mission for yourself?
Say that one more time. You kind of broke up there a little bit.
I'm sorry. I want to talk about your current mission, right? Yeah, because it's really exciting to me. You're actually running for Senate. Am I correct?
I'm in the exploratory phase currently. I made an announcement video on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of fused the two and made a little error there, so I'll correct it here on the record. Currently, I'm in the exploratory phase for candidacy, but within a week I will have made my final decisions. But yes, I'm more than likely I'm running for Senate. Yes.
What do you think about running for House of Representatives?
Well, one of those things I did think about. Currently in my district, there isn't anybody really up. That's part of it. I was more looking for a midterm election that wasn't really on radar yet. A lot of people aren't expecting somebody to come out and challenge Langford. They kind of expect him to just walk through and just make it back for another 6 years. Well, if he does, great, whatever. But I'm not going to make it that easy. I hope the libertarian option, I actually know him well. His name is Kenneth Blevins, he's an acquaintance of mine. Even the Democrat, I hope whoever gets on the ballot in this race gives him a run for the money, because the people need options. He claims to be pro-life, and yet he's not saying a damn thing about Palestinian lives being murked off the face of the earth. He's supposed to be a fiscal responsible Republican, but yet we're almost to $29 trillion in debt and climbing. The whole time he's been in office, it hasn't gone down once. He hasn't co-authored or authored a bill that's really significantly changed the grand landscape of anything. In fact, if anything, he's been a vote when needed and a lapdog for the GOP. So if Oklahoma wants to portray itself as a lapdog for a greater apparatus instead of set itself apart, then vote for him, I guess. But I don't. I think Oklahoma deserves better and more choice.
What you just said right there, I found incredibly exciting, because right now, you see this right here? See it right here? Yeah. What it says? What does it say right there?
Libertarian.
That's right. You know what I mean? So the fact that you're already working with libertarians, right? Now the thing is that when we talk about coalitions, a lot of times, right? People are kind of like, working with the leadership that is sometimes not even elected. What if you ran in the Libertarian Party as well? Have they had their primary already? No, right? For 2022, look, not to be disrespectful, but challenge and say, look, I could bring in a lot of Greens as well and have a bigger chance. If you could earn that vote, I think that would be sick. Not trying to hurt your friend. He could do the same thing for the Greens. It sounds like he's close to y'all. Oh my God, maybe I don't hope to. Do your thing, man. Your libertarians are strong. You know what I mean? But make that challenge, bro. What do you think about that?
Well,
forcing a coalition, right there.
That's where the Independent Greens Party kind of is unique, right, in a way. In the bylaws that I'm currently writing out.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are modeled off of the 4 pillars of the Green values, which is grassroots democracy, ecological wisdom, nonviolence, and social justice. But it goes a little deeper than that. We more fancy the decentralization part, where we're not so focused on the national apparatus micromanaging and controlling each state affiliate. Each state affiliate kind of has a little more leeway to how they want to do it per their area, because you can't one size fits all, black or white in a gray situation. It just doesn't work. And I think that's part of the mistake certain third parties make. And I'm not going to try to label anybody, but a lot of them try to do it from a top down, everybody fits the same model, and that's our key to success, when it's shown time and time again it's not worked. So I think each state needs to have a little more leeway as a party while also representing the greater picture.
I understand. I feel like I understand both sides of it, but I feel like, honestly, right, I feel like you have a really important position, and I think it must be defended for government to really work in its full form. That's because the thing is that from their end, right, they may completely mean well, you know what I mean, but they have certain structures set up where, unfortunately, right, yeah, there's certain inequities, so their people keep getting all the business, their people get to control things, you know what I mean, and in their vision, right, they're doing it for the right reasons. Sometimes they mess up, you know what I mean? We all mess up, right? But there has to be opportunities for conversation and review and accountability. And also, they can't enforce their rules in our part of town, right? Yeah, we're going to end up doing what we want, you know what I mean? So we working with them through our choice as well. So that's unfair for them to do some of the things that they did. And that's unfortunate, because I know most people in New York, honestly, are Howie Hawkins people. That might cause a little bit of issue, but I'm still telling y'all that whatever y'all feel about that situation right there, I'm still willing to work with you to support a friend and a what are you again? District
Chairman.
you're the chairman of of the state, right? Yeah, I mean, he deserves help, honestly, right? And I'm sure he'll be helping us for. We got a lot of big things coming up too, urgent things. We need help bad. So, I'm so excited, man. Yeah. Now, can I ask you some other questions about your camp? Well, okay. First of all, I want you to win. So, is your opponent weak in any way? This guy, what's his weaknesses? I bet
Well,
you
I
voted
did.
wrong on a lot of stupid stuff.
I did briefly mention a couple of them. With supposedly running on being a deficit hawk, he's not done a good job really at that. Anything he might have stood up about doesn't really have a lot of teeth. Also, his border policy, while being Trump-esque, it's not. You can't be pro border reform but pro wall. Is kind of my thing. You're wanting to reform the problem, but your idea of reforming the problem is putting a giant wall there. That's clearly not working already. So why are we practicing the same thing and expecting different results? That's much like what they typically do, whether you're a D or an R. But the other thing that maybe would be a weakness for him as well would be, again, the Palestine-Israel thing. Too many of these congressmen, not just him, it's just a one side of it. It's just, the country that has all the working hospitals and electricity and running water and no rations on power and people being displaced, no one's being displaced. They're the victims. And no one's talking about Palestine, where women and children are getting bombed and whatnot. So he's to blame for that. A lot of them are to blame for that because we're in this weird twilight zone where the same Democrats that bitched about Bush back in 2002, they're all weirdly still alive, for one thing, because they're ancient, but back in power. We're literally right back in 2003, Washington, D.C. right now with Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden. How did that work out?
Yo,
So,
actually, I want to make it an. I know that your area. I don't know how big the immigrant community is right now. This is gonna sound maybe a little revolutionary, and I don't mean to. But the fact of the matter is that if there's a lot of immigrants in a community, if you guys are a majority of the community right there, if the politicians know that by transforming you into citizens that they can benefit, think about how they are. They will do anything. You can be very politically powerful right now. If you are in that, right, we know that a lot of these. So let's be honest, right? Yeah, the U.S., a lot of Indian, you could Indians, Native Americans, whatever you want to call them, they died from diseases, stuff like that. But in some communities, they are large, and they still have those. Do you guys have those? What are they called? Those reservations? Yeah.
In Oklahoma, yes,
You guys in
there
New
are a
York?
couple.
Yeah. But yeah. So you guys still have a right, and I support anybody who's on that space, regardless of whatever they label you. Homeless, if they label you immigrant, if they label you a red or a Trump supporter or a libertarian or a Green Party or even a Democrat, I will stand with you. You get what I mean? But I'm really excited about the things that you say because it sounds like you're ready to stand for the people that are living there right now and suffering from some bullshit consequences. And thank you for standing for Palestinian people as well. I'm a longtime supporter of that stuff. You're making me smile, man. Deep inside, man. Deep inside. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, it's about. It's, to me, I guess common sense issues are radical these days because there are so many things that so many people care about unanimously. People
Yes.
want fairness, they want integrity, they want transparency, most people want nonviolence. I inherently believe in good in people.
Yes.
I know there are some bad actors out there, that's obvious. I'm not going to label any one group because it's equally spread, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, perfect example, unless you're an elected elite, most people are on the Palestinian end of it because you see the injustice of it. Whereas because there's special interests paid for and brought to you by pocket money and hush hush in the establishment, of course they're on Israel's side.
Okay.
So, the other part of it too, you got to look at other basic things. A lot of people on every end of the spectrum care about Medicare. They care about bringing troops home. A lot of people care about ending the war on drugs or criminal justice reform of some sort, police reform. A lot of people care about the environment. It doesn't really matter what party you're in. There's a lot of common ground, just community things that are key no matter your platform. The bottom line is community is what's stronger than what the, I guess, nationalist, centralized package can bring us.
Yeah.
And that's what they want us to forget. They want us to forget that we are the many and they're the few, and we're the many that put them there.
One thing that I really, like about your whole campaign right there is the fact that you guys are hands-on, putting your hands in the dirt, getting it going. You know what I mean? Stirring up the earth and making things move. Now, the thing is that right now, I'll tell you right now, I'm also, I don't know if you're aware of any of my work. I'm trying to do a lot of, in New York City, there's a lot of elections coming up. So I'm having an education reform panel, and I just contacted every single student government leader at every single school. You get what I mean? We could actually all get together and talk about why tuition isn't free in our communities and build a new audience for the future. I'm playing the long game, bro. You know what I mean? I've been playing the long games. 20 years I've been in this game. Right now, if you look at the numbers, Democrats is 44 million installed user base. We still at 200K. You know what I mean? It's a big problem. Color Change, a black women's interest group, 8 million members, probably more now, right? The last time I checked, it was 8 mil. The Green Party is getting its ass whooped, and it's time for us to reinvent ourselves and come with new leadership. If the current leadership isn't getting the job done, much love to Howard Hawkins. You get to prove yourself in this game too. I ain't mad at you, but oh my God, you're exciting the shit out of me. You know what? I appreciate you, Brent. And honestly, I don't see any reason why we can't be a serious contender in this race, no matter what the fuck the mainstream media says. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's honestly where kind of what I had mentioned before.
I see a fucking super unique opportunity right now because honestly, I think Trumpers are super ready for your message. There's so many Democrats that left and become Trumpers. There's
Absolutely.
So many Trumpers that are ready to just say fuck the mainstream, fuck the establishment. Yo, you ready, bro? You fucking ready? Yeah.
Absolutely, because that's where the integrity and the accountability and the transparency and fairness comes in. Because a lot of these Trump voters, they feel robbed. They feel angry. They feel cheated. They feel, and whatever side of the argument anybody's on, you can't deny the fact they feel cheated, and that's millions of people. And especially, you can hear it out here in Oklahoma. It's a red state. There are still people literally that drive around in the street with giant red and blue Trump flags on the end of their tailgates, like he's still president. So it is definitely loud and clear that there's a disconnect with the establishment, with its constituents, because the people that are elected currently, for the most part, now I'm not going to say all of them, because there are a select few that admirably are way better than some of the others. But most of these people have forgotten why they're there. They have no mission. They're there to keep their chair. They're not listening to their constituents.
Yeah. I'm
Whether it be business leaders, business owners, workers, family owners, or family members,
okay.
individual citizens, young and old.
Now it's time for us to find why can we trust you?
Well, it's shown with the new audits.
You speak good,
all the
right? You speak good. Where's the backup, bro? You know what I mean? You speak good. Do you have now? You became, for example, right? You've been given a leadership position now. Was that an elected position?
No, it was not.
You earned it through working or something? Okay, interesting.
Part of that is up until I was approached with it, there was not going to be an Oklahoma affiliate because there aren't a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
So
they needed someone to lead, and you stepped up.
Yeah, I didn't want to let them down, really, more or less, is kind of what it was. I saw a group of activists really standing up for what they believe in, and it's in parallel with my beliefs and
I've been there,
principles
bro.
and priority.
I'm there right now, damn it. You know what I mean? I'm there right now. But
So,
luckily, the Green Party here in New York is fairly well attended. They have a structured leadership that's kind of like built out. That's good and bad for certain reasons, you know what I mean? But respect to what
well,
they've created, and but respect to you, man. I love what you're doing. Let's So what else? Now while you've been what have you done as a leader now? Like, what are you most proud of? Like, and you've been working with the Native thing. It's been a while, right?
I've been working on establishing the model and the template for third-party coalitions, pretty much. That has probably been the one thing I've been wanting to do, and I've been using this as kind of the platform to leap from. I'm already working with the local Libertarian Party of Oklahoma
Love it
on a
so
lot of
much.
co-sponsored events, which is beautiful. They've been very receptive, which is amazing. Um, the funny thing is, I've been registered a libertarian most of my political career. Um, I only registry wise, I'm still registered libertarian because there's no ballot access for green anything in Oklahoma. So I'm registered one thing, but I'm a member in another.
Run the
Per my
libertarians.
bylaws, that is until more things are set up. It's all right. I'm trying to attract more people uh, to join, to be more interested. I have what's called a complete open primary system for my state affiliate only. This part is separate of IGPUS platform. This is more people
Person.
first,
Okay.
party second platform of mine. I want more people involved, even if it's inter-party elections. If somebody from the outside is curious and they want to come hear us out and then take part in the vote, please do. I don't care if
Yeah.
you're Republican, Independent, Socialist, not Socialist. I don't care. If you want to come in and vote and like decide, be a part of who wants to be chairman in our movement because you like the way they sound and you want to see how they do as chairman and implement, please do come take part. That's
Okay.
part of it. The electoral process is the most American part of this country, is the right to vote.
It's interesting that I think I heard the word socialism somewhere in there. And what is your understanding of socialism?
Socialism is a centralized means of production.
Is there perhaps any main misunderstandings of socialism that you commonly encounter?
In a red state, I think they typically lean on the word a little too heavy. I myself do not identify as one myself, but at the same time, I think there's a slight ignorance is bliss vitriol in at least in a red state. They think the clear cut version of what a real socialist is Bernie Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not. He
Mm-hmm.
is that puppet radical guy that gets all the stuff that would normally be bored of Democrat politics and not vote. He gets their attention and he keeps them engaged for about 6 months, talks about all these progressive things, and then ends up losing and then lapdogs for the establishment pick like he has for the last 30 years.
Mm.
And if people haven't seen the pattern yet, I don't know what to tell him because he's going to do it again if he lives that long.
Interesting you said 30 years because his career goes back like to the 90s, right? So, what do you think happened 30 years ago?
After a certain point, which is why I'm also, and I do believe it is part of underlying platform that's just kind of an understatement. Term limits are a good thing. I think after a certain point in time, whether you're a House of Representatives, a Senate, wherever, if you've been in after a certain amount of time, you've lost your mission if you haven't accomplished anything yet. There shouldn't be 25, 30, 35, 40-year veterans in the House or the Senate.
That makes
It's not
sense
the
to an
NBA
extent.
for
I
one
mean,
thing. Two, it's time for a little bit of new ideals because you have things changing constantly in the grand scheme of things every day,
yeah.
and you have
I'm a little
people
more
that
forgiving, but I get where you're coming from, man, and I admire your ability. I admire your stance, and I think people like you are necessary, because the fact of the matter is, if I have this target right here, and if I want to hit this target, but there's resistance, I have to punch through the target to get to impact this. You know what I mean? So you are right to actually take a stronger integrity stance, right? And I appreciate that. You know what I mean? So honestly, that's something I would approve of.
well,
Damn,
the other
bro.
part of it is too. There's a little bit of a I don't want to say ageism. That kind of doesn't quite cover it. That does
Okay.
take a little bit of the cake for sure. But there's a lot of hesitance to allow new blood to come into the elected field.
Yeah.
When you have a lot of people that are under the age of 45 not ever being elected, or if they run,
You
they
know,
don't do well. It gets rugged against them. Or honestly,
it's
the
an
biggest thing
indictment
of it is we
of
live
our
in a
yeah.
system that's yes,
It's an indictment of our educational system. You know what I mean? We cannot
yeah,
train new leaders. It's not about teaching people how to be self-sufficient and competent. It's about teaching
no.
them to be subservient. That's why I love an independent voice like yours.
We are in a system
Yeah.
that prevents people like you and me from having easy access to our electoral system and being able to represent our constituents.
You know.
It's only set up for those that have and the right people on the phone.
Yeah.
So
You know it,
that's
man.
where a lot of, like yourself, and I'll just go ahead and say it. The future of American politics does lie in third parties. It's not even the duopoly, but where that has to happen and how it will happen is, and I'm going to use this list as an example. I'm not going to say it covers everybody, but as far as maybe who, in terms of activism and trending, I think a good start would be your more pragmatic parties like your Greens, your Independent Greens, your Libertarians, the Progressive Party, the Constitution Party, the American Solidarity Party. While we can maintain our identities as political movements, there's a lot of things we all kind of want in the bigger picture of things. There's strength in numbers. We come together with coalitions and advocacies on these things, and you're going to see actual change.
You know, I'm talking to
The
people in the
problem is,
Libertarians and the Greens right now. You know what I mean? I'm all about coalitions, bro. Actually, I'm very excited to meet you because have I told you about Independent Congress yet?
vaguely,
Okay, so check it out. Me and my boy, there's a guy named James Roguski. You could look him up on the jamesroguski.com. But actually, what we're already doing, actually, maybe, oh, you're on the phone right now, right? The independentcongress.com, what happens is that we've already like assembled third party and independent candidates from across the nation, and we've collected them, and then we're trying to, together, we can form coalition right there. We've already assembled them, so we're adding you to the roster right here. Then we're going to have meetings. We have one of the one of the very few third party independent professors of independent parties in the nation, named Jonathan Martin, who will be maybe presenting or giving a forward about the event. And we're going to be really trying to boost visibility for people like yourself. Here's another thing: we can start making promises on a national scale. If this group of people gets in, right, we've all agreed to do X, Y, and Z. Fuck the establishment, yo. Fuck them, you know what I mean? We've agreed this backbone right here, fuck them all. You get what? Are you down?
yes, in a sense, but this is one thing we got to do
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
while doing this.
Mm.
You gotta upset their jive, and I totally agree. But there's a way to do it that will piss them off more than anything.
This is
We
yeah.
have to organize, mobilize, and be together on it. But we have to come to the table with the momentum. We have to be the adults in the room. We have to be the non-mudslinging. We have to be the calm, cool, and collected, even if they try to hit us with it. And they can all they want. That's fine. When we don't shake, that's what they don't like. And then they shake. And that's what we got to do.
Hey, I don't know if you've seen my material, man, but I'm not like the the silent type, man. Have you seen my material?
I've seen a little.
All right, so you know what I'm about.
There's a time and a place for the rah-rah.
That's
Absolutely.
all I am, bro. I'm rah-rah all the time. If I'm showing up,
See,
shit's getting rah-rah. It cannot be avoided. Not like that's just how I is. You know what I mean?
And see, where you apply the rah-rah is on your biggest talking points and their biggest weaknesses. That's where you hit them, while being all ready to go. But that's the plan of attack. You walk up unseen and then, and there it is.
We come in right now. That's the plan right now. You know what I mean?
But you have it already set out. You don't do it, I guess. In the past, third parties have been very, in their mind, organized, but as a whole, unorganized, because too many arguments and too much time has been wasted on who's the more anti-war party, or who's the more social justice party, who's the more this, who's the more that.
Let me tell you some
if
cool
we're
programs.
All on the same boat, let's just sail it together.
Let me tell you some things I'm doing right now. The thing is that there's something called public housing here in New York City. 600,000 people reside in public housing alone. I'm talking to all the tenant association presidents and asking them, right, that 600,000 potential voters, right, that I will listen to their interests and put them first. Then we're getting a special, right, we have a special candidate debate, right, but in the candidate debate, we have a forward, right, panel discussion with community members, including these tenant association presidents. You know what I mean? That's a unique way. There's some tenants pack, blah, 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 bullshit, corporate bullshit that they're trying to push. Fuck all that, okay? Now that I told you about the other thing that I just did, I contacted every single student government president, right, for every university and college here in New York City. And I'm putting together for an education reform panel. Why isn't tuition going down? What is this shit? You know what I mean? This is bullshit. You know what I mean? Why are we destroying our futures right now? You know who's buying the projects in New York City? Cornell Pace. We've created these freaking tax-free independent entities. So that's what you talk about socialism being a problem. We are victims of socialism out of control, turned into like communism, turned into like some kind of like unfair Pelosi gets to buy freaking Microsoft and then make a military contract bullshit. You know what I mean? It's absolute bullshit. So yeah, the rah-rah is definitely I'm sorry, man. Yeah, that's all I am, man. That's all I am.
And you know what? I appreciate it. You know, you gotta have that, because without it, we don't have energy.
Yeah.
And there has to be energy.
There has to be behind you. How can I help your campaign? How can other people help your campaign? You got the website up. What's up?
Well, I'm working on that. That's actually pretty much in its infancy
I'll help
right
you
now.
with that right now. Okay, I can get that done for you by the end of the week.
Because here's what I'm doing, just as a forward plan. I haven't made a campaign page yet. I am getting a little bit of resource help from the rest of IGPUS. They'll be assisting me on a couple things.
I'm on that team.
This interview, stuff like this, all the time, is amazing. It's airtime. Airtime drives the bus. So, what you're doing is amazing. But I plan on getting on. One, I need to make a web page, but two, I will have a Facebook campaign page, not just the Independent Greens Party of Oklahoma page. Right now, I'm kind of running it all on it for now, just to kind of get some exposure out there for the name, put it in people's mouths a little bit. Our hashtag is IGPOK, by the way, so when you start seeing a little bit more of that on Twitter, because I haven't really gotten on Twitter about it much, but I will be soon. You'll be seeing that hashtag a lot more often. But I'll be on Twitter, Parler. We're already engaging at the national level on Discord. Expect that to be a little busier, a little closer to midterms. I know right now with individual state development, that's kind of taken the foreground. Trying to get certain elections ready. You know, we've got a couple candidates for governor in 3 states, myself here, and then we're working on just trying to get some affiliates, because by 2024 we would like to have as many, if not more than, what the current Green Party has.
I'm going to plug some of my stuff right now, yeah? Check it out. DJL7.com, definitely in the house. Has all my social media links. And also, I know you plugged your Discord. I also have a Discord links in the chat. And I also hang out regularly on the Yellow Brick Road Discord server, so I invite everybody to go and hang out with me over there. I want a big shout out to Brian Aguilar, who helped me set this up. And I know actually that's one thing that really showed me that Brent's kind of a serious person, because Brent's not just rolling alone. There's like some kind of like people that he's rolling with. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about, you already have a coalition kind of going, right? What is this?
It's starting. Brian, much love. Again, it's really nice to have younger enthusiasm in a movement that is trying to get off the ground and running as quick as possible with very limited time. It's nice to have that energy and that kind of support. I wish he was in Oklahoma. That would be a lot more helpful to me. But, I do have people in the state and out of state that are interested, like Brian, giving me, sharing stuff that I may post, or even just giving shout outs online when he decides to. It's really helpful, because again, it's putting that word in people's mouths and that bug in their ear. But it's been positive, which is probably the biggest thing. There's a lot of people interested in state. I think probably the biggest push I've received, I would say, would be from the cannabis community in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They're looking for a voice that really sticks up for them. And a big thing in the Green Party, whether it be the Independent Greens or in the current Green Party U.S., cannabis legalization, criminal justice reform revolved around cannabis. If you have a crime on record for cannabis, you should be pardoned and released from jail. That's just a bottom line. No one should have jail time for a plant. It shouldn't be a Schedule I narcotic. It shouldn't be criminalized. It should be available for everyone to have and grow if they want to. There shouldn't be red tape. There shouldn't be 18 licenses to do 2 things. It's really silly the way they've micromanaged something that is less dangerous than romaine lettuce, statistically. So, it's been really nice to have that push from the cannabis community here locally in Oklahoma. There's a lot of energy there. Of course, over 57% of the state in terms of voter turnout to have medical marijuana in the state. Roughly, I believe it was roughly like over 500,000 votes. It's been a couple of years now, which thankfully I'm glad it's maintained. No one's tried to overturn it.
Have things reopened over there?
Oklahoma was very strange. Yes, it did officially open back up once all mandates were lifted. But it never really officially closed down the way some of the other states did. With a lot of states, you had a lot of complaining, or one way or the other, on their governor, on how they handled things. Our governor never officially called for any mandates or lockdowns. In fact, he remained hands off. He didn't even call anything.
I think would be fun, man? We should have a convention over there in Oklahoma. Have like some people like go over there from different areas of the country. Also a bunch of people from Oklahoma, coming in from different parts of Oklahoma to talk about their issues, and have a day of discussion. I think that would be a wonderful thing. And to maybe all the colleges, if Brian, you said he's only 18?
Yes, I believe he just turned 18 recently.
In high school?
He is starting college this year.
Wow, I'm so proud of him. Yeah. Yo, but he can run the college, exciting, right? The college.
It really is. Yeah. It is exciting to see young blood, really.
Let's have the education part. Let's have the education. Listen, these students, I'm telling you, I haven't been involved with student activism. There's a reason why you don't hear about student activism anymore. All those Office of Student Life type things are there to control the students and to prevent them from engaging in activism. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it is being suppressed. So we want the students to get together on their own. They'll try to stop you. They'll tell you it's whack. That's why you come in. And we're going to have, meet the real ones. What up, Brent and Brian? So also, yeah, man. I'm excited, man. Yeah.
It's good. No, it really is. I think there's a lot of potential after this past election, because I think it's revealed certain things and it's created a vacuum in others. because I think the Republican Party is identityless right now. They don't really know what faction is going to be in charge come next election. In midterms is really going to tell it, honestly, because however they do in midterms is really going to set the tone.
Yeah, what's the last
Go
place
ahead.
you went to eat in Oklahoma?
Last place I went to eat in Oklahoma. Let's see, where did I go? Not to sound cliche, Olive Garden, so I guess you can go there anywhere.
That's all right.
But
So when we coming down from, when we come, hey, sometimes the Olive Garden is still manned by local people. So when we come down for that convention, we all gonna mob up that Olive Garden. We're gonna help Oklahoma businesses. We're gonna get to know y'all. You know what I mean?
If we're gonna do that, I'll tell you a good place to go. If we're gonna do that, I would say.
A friend of the movement? Who's that? I'm down for that.
There's a place called The Pump. It's an actual pub and serves food.
Hell yeah! Oh, the good food, the good stuff. Let's do it.
It's a nice experience because you're downtown, more of the arts district, and just it's a really good vibe down there. Good people. If you're out in the patio, you can have a little good time when you're eating.
I'm collecting donations now to fly me down to hang out with you. Let's fucking do it, all right? And we should get Brian down there too, right? He should start his own thing, yeah?
We are at some point, at least for IGPUS, we are planning to have an in-person at some point at an undisclosed time yet. We haven't really established, but we're doing both an in-person and a virtual convention. Part of that is just for legalities and credentialing and everything else, but the more in-person one will be to kind of, I don't know, actually meet everybody instead of being on screen like we all have for the last year and a half.
I want to see what Oklahoma's like, you know what I mean? I just want to check it out, you know what I mean?
You know, there's some good parts. I'm not going to say it's the most to-be destination for a vacation, but
yeah.
Oklahoma City, it's got a pretty nice little nuance. It's so spread out, and there's so many big parts of it land-wise. I mean, each sector of the city is different. You go east, north, south, or west, there's different parts to it. It's pretty funny, really, how it works.
Have you heard of something called a ballot selfie? No?
No, I don't believe I have.
Okay. So let's suppose I'm in the booth and I'm placing my vote.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
I take a picture of myself right here. Oh, look, I voted right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, this is considered to be illegal in some cases. Did you know about that?
Yes, and I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard that that's even a law.
Okay, so what do you think about the, right, so there is that. What is it illegal in Oklahoma? Maybe. Let's look
if I'm not mistaken, it is frowned upon, but there isn't a law specified.
Nobody ever went to jail nobody was ever prosecuted for this. You know what I mean? By the way.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But I do know you cannot go to your voting booth wearing any campaign apparel. They will tell you to leave. So there's a halfway. In terms of actual pictures, I do it all the time when I go vote. I always take a picture and I post it, and I'm still here. So if they're on their way now, I guess I'll eat my words, but so far so good.
Cool, man. Appreciate that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, man. Crazy. So, you got anything? What are your plans for the future? What's coming up next?
Well, right now I'm working on getting kind of the party off the ground here and helping nationally. But also, again, I'm still working on that coalition side. I've got a trash street cleaning event coming up on the 5th of June. I'll be joining a local cannabis movement community outlet. I'll be joining with the local Libertarian Party and a couple of other organizations doing that. So I'm going to be looking to doing that as a co-sponsorship monthly going forward, this is kind of the test run. This going around. Let's see what else.
It's actually, if you guys could legalize growing it, Oklahoma could probably grow a lot of cannabis, right? What do you think?
Currently, per the medical side of it, patients can grow 6 seedlings and 6 flowering plants in their own house per licensee, not per household. Hemp, of course, is legal. As long as you have a hemp farming license, you can grow as much as you want. I'm for both. I'm for complete hemp freedom as far as that's concerned. I don't think there should be a limit on how many plants you grow. I think we're going to see, recreation in about probably a year or two. It's coming. They keep trying to tweak with medical side of it a lot from the legislative side of things. But there's too many activists out here in Oklahoma. They want 23rd and Lincoln, which is where our Capitol building is. They want the Capitol out of our medicine, pretty much. And I think the people are eventually going to get their way because the bureaucracy side is pretty well screwing it up, as they do best, typically. They think they know what's better for us when they know nothing about it.
Yo, the government's just giving, right? Yeah, these health providers like $400, maybe $500. I heard maybe even $600 for each COVID shot. You know what I mean? Who's gonna pay for that? We are. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What kind of services can we expect to receive when already $600 of value out of whatever whatever payment we've put in, right, has been going to this one shot. You know what I mean? I think that's ridiculous. There's no reason for it to cost $600.
The whole COVID thing.
I give it $50 max. $50 max.
I wouldn't even.
35 maybe.
Man, the COVID's such a big deep breath and exhale about what to talk about on it. I really blame it for where a lot of the country is right now. I'm not blaming the disease itself. I'm blaming how things have been managed and handled as a result, and the angle things are going because of it. You have a whole generation of children that are set back probably 2 years educationally because this whole last school year nationally was a wash. I have a 9-year-old at home, and sometimes it was in school, sometimes it was out, sometimes it was on a tablet, sometimes they had packets, sometimes the curriculum was this, next week it's that. And it just they didn't retain anything. I promise you. There's no way at that young of an age anybody can. The fact that kids got cheated out of school in the name of some fear control mechanism, while I get it, people did get sick and people did lose their lives. I want to point out one thing, though. While the media pointed out all the scary red flashy lights, everybody's dying, you look at the number of total deaths in 2020, it wasn't even a full 45,000 more than 2019 worldwide. But everybody was dying. Everybody was dying. Everything was normal, though. So, and also, not to mention a 99.2% global survival rate. So the way they've managed this and tried to scare everybody with something that is beatable, I think is a very bad thing. It's affected the economy. It's caused certain things to really go whack out. I mean, there's no glass, there's no aluminum, there's no, in certain cases, there's no bourbon. There's, the corn, the wood, a lot of it. There's so many things out of whack just off of this pandemic that they've tried to hold over us when we've had similar situations in the past and we've never done this before. And to add another side note, has anyone ever offered you money, or have you heard on the radio where a casino comes on and offers you $7,500 in cash to get a jab for smallpox or tetanus or any of those others?
They're starting that now. They are starting to market other vaccines.
They're bribing people to do it, and I'm just like, what kind of sketchy thing is that? Why do you need to bribe somebody?
Because the government's paying them so much. If the government paying them
Absolutely.
600,
And it's not
they
even
can make it
FDA
easy 300.
approved. It's emergency cleared. It's not even approved.
They jab you, it's
Something
easy
that's
300.
tested.
If maybe it's that's how much it is. I don't know. Maybe it's even an easy two. Maybe they do it for as cheap as 200. Who knows how shady these people are? You know what I mean?
Well, it's big pharma.
How
It's all
cheap
big
they'll go.
pharma. It's all your big pharma special interests corporations
The
that have their
opioid epidemic, right? Has showed that we cannot trust them. The price of drugs shows that we cannot trust them.
correct.
Why are we trusting them? Right? The Johnson and Johnson blood clot thing
cannabis
shows we cannot trust them. You know what I mean?
Their war on cannabis and their complicity on the opioid crisis shows you cannot trust them.
So many things.
Yep.
So many things. Yeah. Hey, man. I appreciate having you on the show, man. Any last things you want to share with the audience before we go?
Yes. Just honestly, be looking out for more. The Independent Greens Party of Oklahoma, alongside the greater Independent Green Party of the United States, we are the up and coming re-education of what it means to be green.
All right.
Not left, not right, only forward. And that's the message.
I heard that, man. Thanks a lot. All right,
Absolutely.
See you. Peace.
See ya.
All right, so I just hit stop recording.